I'm Crystal.
And I'm Tara.
And you're listening to The Homeless Magicians.
That feels accurate.
Welcome to Rom-Com Detectives, episode 59, Homeless Magician. Today we'll be talking about the 6th episode of Lucifer Season 2 called Monster. This episode originally aired on October 31st, very fitting, 2016, was written by Chris Rafferty and was directed by Ego Eggleston. Okay, case briefing. Victim was... we had 2 victims, actually. We had Peggy Russo, and then we had Freddie from the food truck. And then the cause of death for both was gunshot by a sniper. Motive, I think he was punishing himself, or he wanted punishment for out of guilt.
But I mean, seriously, also like murdering people. It's not a good way.
The killer was Wesley Williams, and I only have him listed as a guest star because for some reason there weren't that many guest stars to note down. So the killer was played by Joshua Bitton, and he's from The Night of, Castle, Grotesquerie, and actually he's from The Mentalist. He was like a kind of like a small recurring character that fans know. So when I saw him, I was like, oh my god, that's Torque.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy. All right. So episode breakdown. This one opens with a couple having a zombie wedding. I thought this intro was really cool. Very, very LA, very Hollywood.
Okay, so I have to say this is like hands down one of my favorite episodes. I feel like this episode, like as I was watching it again, super slowly because I was enjoying it and writing down all my favorite lines, which ended up being like 10 pages. I was like, man, I do not know what I like. My bad on this one, which I will save till the end, is like the nitpickiest nitpickle, because it's like this episode is so good, right? Because sometimes the cases are a bit but even this one just starts so good. And, you know, keeping in mind that we ended on Lucifer killing his brother and then it starts with zombie wedding is just so good.
But so it starts with the groom getting shot in the arm, and then the bride is like crying out for help, and nobody... So funny.
They all think it's part of the show.
Yeah, they all think it's entertainment. Meanwhile, she's like, "Oh my god, help!" But then she gets shot in the chest, and then she dies, and so she's the victim. But then we go to Lux, where Lucifer is drinking heavily, and then Linda shows up to check on him because he didn't show up for his appointment, and he tells her, "Oh, but I canceled it." And she's like, "Yeah, but you never cancel." And so he finally just tells her, "You know, my brother died," and she. I like how she's like,
oh my god.
But he has to explain, no, I have many brothers. So I was really sad about this scene because she's being sincere and she's trying to help.
She's trying. I mean, but Lucifer is like a crashing out. Like this is like if Lucifer has taken, you know, a couple of steps forward since the beginning of the series, this is him crashing in a way that we actually, I don't think I've ever seen. Like he's just, I mean, he's looking good with his
I know he
hair
is.
And
oh my god,
like
this whole episode, I was like, this whole episode, I was like, wow, he's like having a hard time, but he sure looks good doing it.
Grieving looks awesome on you, man. You look hot. It's terrible. But really, he looks so good in this episode.
He does.
He does sad and tortured extremely attractively. That's your takeaway for this episode. Next time on the Rom-Com but poor Linda, who is just like, wow, you're...
And props to her for sticking to her guns, because he offers to he basically like wants to have sex with her too, and she's like, "No, we don't do that anymore. Remember?" It's like this woman is like she's got
Yeah.
steel resolve.
She because as we've mentioned, he's looking extremely hot. So, I mean, Linda, props to you because I'm not sure the resistance would be there under normal circumstances.
But yeah, so she tries one last attempt. She says, "My door is always open," and he tells her, "Well, feel free to shut it." And I was like, "Oh, that
It's
hurt."
so bad. It's so yeah. I mean, I can't imagine saying that to my therapist. I would feel so bad.
So next we go to Chloe. She's hanging up Halloween decorations, which are adorable, by the way. She's a good
Yes.
Halloween decorator. Her, and then she hears Trixie and Maze giggling inside. She goes in, and Maze is pushing Trixie on a sex sling.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, okay,
Multi-purpose.
is it a sex sling or a sex swing?
I mean, I think they can be called both,
Oh, okay.
but yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sex swing.
This scene was so funny just because of the conversation that they have where like, she sends Trixie to her room. She's like, you can't have a sex thing in a common area of when we're going to live together. She's like, you told
said
me I
I
could
could
move
bring
in my
my
furniture.
Everything, again, this episode is so good, but it's partly because everybody is so in character in ways that are both different from how we've seen them before, but like
So true to
still
themselves too.
in character. And like it's just such a like every bit of, I mean, it is funny, but then you're also like there's a child swinging in a sex swing is maybe not the vibe, pun not intended, that we're going for in this home.
It did not escape my notice too that later the swing is still there, so she didn't take it down.
She's like, no. Trixie's like, don't take it.
And
I've never had
I
a
was
swing in my house before.
Has it been disinfected lately?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but so
Oh, Mace.
the two are staring off at each other until her phone rings and she gets called to the scene. And so when she gets there, Dan gives her the rundown and she notes that it's suspicious that the groom only got shot in the arm while she died. So she suspects him. She goes to talk to the groom, and while she goes to talk to him, you can hear tires screeching in the background because Lucifer has like
Lucifer is
he's
on the
arrived.
scene.
I love
And
the way that he acts this whole time is just so I can't even put into words. Just like the way that he like looks at the preacher and he like makes like all these arm movements. He was just so in character and so on it.
yes, like a homeless magician, as it were. um and he's like, because there's a moment in this bit where Chloe says to him, like, are you drunk? And he's like, I wish, right? And
Yeah.
but he is acting like he's drunk, but this is like Lucifer, just no craps given. It's sort of like regression to like what we must imagine teenage angel Lucifer was like, going through his like sulky but also wounded phase, because obviously he's not handling the events of the last episode well, and the way that comes out is in acting like a homeless magician.
Did you see like he like cross burped himself when he saw the
Yes.
preacher?
Yes. As you do. Yep. Don't forget, kids, next time you're in church, that's the way you greet preachers.
He finds the dessert tent and he helps himself to the wedding cake and starts
Well, yes.
eating, as like
Chloe is like,
what are you doing?
what? Because I feel like Chloe, for the last little while, has been like, okay, he's a little, he has his moments, but he's mostly been behaving. And then we have Hurricane Lucifer enters the building, and it's devastation everywhere.
So she's trying to explain the case, and he seems more interested in drinking champagne. And he tells her that he can't get drunk because of his pesky supernatural metabolism. And then she's like, "Do you want to work this case or not?" And he's like, "Yes." And he gets really serious, and he's like, "All killers need to be punished." And
Yeah.
so, like, this starts the theme for the episode with Lucifer's introspective, like his self
Mhm.
reflection, because this is ultimately what he feels he deserves too. Is he deserves to be punished? So
Yeah. Well, there's an interesting parallel between him saying to people, "I did what I had to do," and then also
also
wanting to be
feeling, yeah.
punished. Yeah.
But then she tells him to pull himself together because he looks like a homeless magician. And it's one of my favorite lines in the show, definitely for the season. It was so
Yeah.
good.
She just says it with such disgust, like,
Disdain,
just
yeah.
like she is having a day. This day has already included a sex swing that her child was singing in and a zombie bride who is dead and not rising from that death. And then Lucifer, the homeless magician, shows up, and she's just like, she is already at peak. And as we know, days are 872 hours long in this show. So, she still has a lot of day left to go on this.
But she walks off, and then Lucifer spots the bridesmaids, and so he goes over to tear into them. Oh my god! Like just being, he's like
Mhm.
speculating about the victim being a bridezilla, and he actually uses his power on like the main one because he senses like some kind of like weakness in her, and she admits that she wanted to ruin her wedding because the bride was too perfect. And so what she did was she called the ex-boyfriend and told him where the wedding was going to be. But she said she never imagined that he would kill her. So this is like their first lead. She starts to cry, and then oh my god, Lucifer just like sticks his tongue
Makes
down
out
her
with her.
throat.
I mean, that might make you feel better for a while. I also have
Looked like
my
she felt
first
better.
she seemed to. I do have a nitpickle here, not pickle related, but fashion related, because it drives me crazy every time. Lucifer says when he's calling out the bridesmaids, trying to get them to tell him what a bridezilla the bride was. He says to one, and I bet she wanted you to lose weight. And then to the other, he says, and she put you in this T-length dress that does nothing for your cankles. But then the wide shot shows that this woman is wearing a mini dress. Okay, it's not even to her knees. And for those of you who don't know what a T-length dress is, it comes to midway down your calves. And I'm just like, every time I see it, I'm like, it's not a T-length dress, Lucifer. It's not even a knee-length dress. It's a mini dress. You should know this. You like mini dresses. So anyways, that's my
Maybe
nitpickle.
it's wardrobe's fault. Maybe they didn't
I
get
blame
the memo
wardrobe.
that they
Yeah.
didn't know they were supposed to put her in a particular dress.
But still, somebody should have caught that and been like, wait a second, this line doesn't work because she's in a
Yeah,
mini
yeah.
dress. So that's my nitpickle fashion related of the day. Like I said, this episode is almost perfect, so we will not have many of these, but
Yeah,
every
I
time
mean,
I'm like,
the the sequence that they have at this part where she runs back when he's like kissing her and she's like pulling him off of her and he's like, "I
mm-hmm.
found you." And she says, "Where? In her mouth?"
And he says, imagine what I could find in other orifices. Lucifer.
Oh my goodness.
Lucifer. It's a crime scene. Someone was murdered here, Lucifer. This woman's friend was murdered here. God.
At the station.
She's like, you're inappropriate. And he's like, inappropriate's what I do. And she's like, pull your pants up. My God. It's like, she's just having ultimate like mom day.
I like, and then Dan arrives. He's like, "What's with you?" Because normally Lucifer just looks like so well put together, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that probably makes Dan feel self conscious all the time, right? So
Probably.
he's a little taken
Plus,
aback by
we
this.
we know that Dan always looks like a cop, so that and
Yes,
Dan doesn't like that, but it is true.
but he updates her on the ballistics, confirming it was a large caliber bullet. Lucifer overhears, and he notices that the boyfriend that they brought in, the ex boyfriend, He's sitting in interrogation. He looks very smug when he's sitting in there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, because like the story that they tell later, I don't understand why he looks so cocky. But while Chloe and Dan are talking, he heads right into the room and he tears the door handles off, which actually is there was like a continuity gaffe there. But yeah, so he tears the door handles off from the inside so that nobody can get in, and then he shows the guy his devil eyes. And then next we have Chloe banging on the door, and she goes to the window and looks at him, but all he's doing is sitting at the table. But the guy Jason is sobbing while sitting on the floor.
Curled up in a ball.
But she demands that he gets out, so he does, and then he says, "Oh, he's innocent." He says that he couldn't stand seeing her happy, and he just left. And he left before the shooting started, but he bumped into a wedding musician. And so Chloe says, no, they didn't have a musician, they hired a DJ. So that leads them to suspect that this musician guy is the shooter. Chloe tells Lucifer that he pulls one more stunt like that, she'll bench him. But the gaff that I was going to mention was that when Lucifer comes out of the room, he turns the door handles to come out.
Nitpickle.
Yeah. But yeah, so Chloe tells Lucifer one more and he's out. And then next we go to Lux. Amenadio is sitting at the piano. And it's it's so funny because they have scenes with Lucifer at the piano and he starts playing so beautifully. Meanwhile, Amenadio just hits one key.
This is not one of Amenadiel's gifts.
But mom comes and she's like asking for Lucifer, and he's like, well, he's probably out having a threesome. Which fair.
He would have if Chloe had not stopped him and the bridesmaids. So
yeah, there were three of them. Oh, actually, that would be a foursome, but never mind.
Yes. I mean, Lucifer would enjoy that as well, I'm sure. It's,
But they get to talking about Uriel, and she says that she knows that Amenadio doesn't have his powers, and that he can regain his strength, but she needs to take him to see something. And then next we go back. This is later. Dan brings back photos of what they've
presumed. But not that much later, because it is still the same day.
Yes.
Halloween. The longest Halloween ever.
Because we know it's before 3:00, right?
Seriously.
I mean, what time was they getting married? They must have been getting married really early.
Yes, the 9 a.m. champagne wedding. They were in a different time zone of LA, actually. So where they were. Yeah.
So Dan brings back photos of the sniper nest, and he like shows them a napkin that they found from a food truck. I like how he's talking and Lucifer just opens it and he's like sniffing it and everything. Just no regard.
This day is the case of Lucifer and the missing snacks. That's the subtitle of this episode. He is just hungry the entire time. So,
but I mean, it comes in really handy because he sniffs it and he knows what the guy had and everything, right? Mm-hmm. So they go down. He even has the app for the food truck so that he knows.
He likes it. He's down for those Dutch pastries, man.
He says app, and so that's pretty impressive because normally it's just like food trucks just have like an Instagram or something, right?
Exactly. Freddie was on the ball.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't.
That's why
the
he was
oily balls.
At the food truck, Chloe tells him to hang back, and he just starts staring at a girl's ass.
Yeah, he's like, sure, I'll do that, but then I will also be annoying and order.
Yeah, so she's trying to talk to the guy, Freddie, who owns the food truck, and he starts yelling at her his order, what he wants her to get. He wants the ollie in. But Freddie doesn't remember seeing a man with a guitar, but his worker says that there was someone there that morning asking for him, and that he left. And so just as Lucifer's asking for one more... I like that everybody groans because like there was a clear line, right? And like
yes, lines don't apply to Lucifer.
But then a shot is fired and Freddy is killed right there. There will be no more oily balls.
No more oily balls or stroop waffles for anybody. That's sad.
So Chloe can see the glass from the sniper scope and she runs up to the roof. She finds a bullet casing, and then when Lucifer wonders why would this guy kill Freddy, she tells him that it was premeditated because of what the worker said, meaning that they came looking for him, went to go kill Peggy, and then came back. So she says he has a list.
Also, we get a bit of a foreshadowing about Lucifer's mental state because, the sniper shoots and Chloe immediately yells like, "Everybody down!" And Lucifer just stands
He's just
there,
standing
even
there.
though
Yeah.
he is standing next to Chloe, so he knows that he's vulnerable.
Yeah.
And he doesn't appear to care.
That kind of detail is really like I really appreciate that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They show a scene of everybody on the ground and he's just there like looking up like casually.
And with that same kind of like, I don't give a shit attitude in his
Yeah.
body language too. Like, oh, what's the worst you can do to me? Kill me? Ha!
Yeah.
Go for it. He's not having a good day, Lucifer.
So since Lucifer didn't get his oily balls, he's trying to get a snack from the vending machine, but it won't take his money because all he has is hundreds, because of course he does.
Of course he does. And it's before we had tap vending machines, apparently.
Chloe reports that the same gun was used for both shootings, and then she sees him. He had. They haven't shown this in a while, but he's like had this thing where he can just open anything. Yeah.
Yeah, he can open
doors.
He can open locks. Like that's kind of his locks can't hold him kind of thing, which we've seen before when he like gets out of the car that she's locked him in, or if he opens a door that has been, he's like, oh, look at that, it's unlocked. So yeah, this time he uses it to get snacks because he's hungry.
I like this. So she scolds him for stealing food, but I just
in the middle of the precinct.
But he puts like his $100 bill on like one of the snacks, and can you imagine the next person if they're looking at the snacks and like, oh my god,
I want that. I'll take like, E13.
Exactly. Oh my god.
For $100.
I came for teeny tiny donuts, but I'm coming away with $100.
Profit.
So Chloe gets a phone call and it's Trixie. She is asking about trick-or-treating, and she says, oh, well, I think we're going to have the babysitter take you. And she's like, oh, she left because she went into Mais's room and then ran out screaming.
I love it so much. That everything about Mais and Trixie in this episode is just
perfect.
Chef's kiss. Like it's so great, and they're so funny, and Trixie is just such a kid, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, the contrast between Chloe and Mais is just so comedic and perfect. It's just like when she's like, make sure you take her by 3. She's like, oh yeah, well, the best parties don't start till 3 anyway.
The best after parties. It's not even parties. The best after parties don't start till 3. And Chloe's like, 3 p.m. and I want her home before dark. Oh my god.
And so she's trying to tell her about where Trixie's costume is, but Mais just hangs up on her, and then Trixie comes out of her room and she doesn't look happy. She's wearing a princess costume. And I want to know, do you I'm not sure if I was imagining it, but the dress that she was wearing, I swear there was another girl that
there is. Yeah.
Yeah, when they're
later
like,
when they go trick-or-treating.
Yeah, the same pink dress. I was like, oh, that's such a nice touch.
Yeah.
That's such a thing when you're a little kid.
It is,
a lot of people have the same costume.
Not me, because my mom always made my costumes.
Oh, very lucky.
And they were always but we weren't allowed to ask about costumes until after my birthday, which is exactly 1 week before Halloween. So my mom both met, like, she was like, no, not until after your birthday. And then she would pull costumes together in a week, and they were usually pretty great. So yeah.
My
Yep.
daughter
Way to go,
makes her
Mom.
costume. My daughter makes her own costume every year with her friends. They do some kind of group themes. It's really
Yep.
cool.
I still dress up on Halloween because I like it. Last year I was a actually last year, thematically appropriate, I was a and I was a celestial editor and purveyor of divine
Ah.
inspiration because I was going to a writing like festival and with my I'm president of the board of the local writers association and the BC Federation of Writers. You should join. You don't have to be from BC. We're great. There's my president of the board spiel. So we were at a thing, and so I was like, well, if I'm going to be in public on Halloween at a writers thing, I'm definitely going full costume. So I did. I made my own wings out of
Wow.
manuscript pages from my
Oh,
own
cool.
manuscript. It was great. So yeah, I this is the real reason I did a degree in acting was really for costumes, and I've never grown out of that. So yeah.
What did I last dress up as? Oh, I know. I went as Agatha Harkness.
Oh, nice. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So I wanted to know, did you see the
The
Mazikeen
pumpkin.
pumpkin? Oh my
Mm-hmm.
god, it was amazing. I love that pumpkin. It's so
Plus,
cool.
like, so for all of her like aloofness, it was totally Maze who did that pumpkin, and she
Yeah.
probably carved it with her like crazy daggers.
Yeah.
I'm
She's
just picturing her like
talented. I
whipping out
know.
these like
And then
daggers, and then this like face, and I imagine Chloe was like, uh, and Trixie was like, "Oh my god, you're the coolest ever." But yes, the pumpkin was amazing. Whoever
Yeah,
actually did that pumpkin, good job, guys.
I know.
Fantastic.
But so Maze asked why Trixie looks sad, and she's like, "Halloween is a." I like that she was like, "I told mommy I wanted to be a princess when I was 7.
When I was
I'm
7.
I'm 8 now."
I'm like, oh yeah, whoever wrote that line has children. Like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I liked pancakes yesterday. Today, I hate pancakes. God, what's wrong with you? I'm sorry. That memo didn't come in overnight.
But she says Halloween is the one night you get to be whatever you want, and then they leave us to wonder what's going to happen next.
Which I want to say Trixie has the best smirk on her face.
I know.
She's like, "Oh, Maze is gonna do this for me. I know. I
Yeah,
know."
yeah. She knows Auntie Maze.
Mhm.
So Dan and Chloe are brainstorming in the lab, and Dan can't figure out how the two victims are connected, and that gives Chloe an idea, and she figures out that it's the spouses that are connected. So after she confirms this with Freddy's widow, that gives them their next lead. They want to go to the hospital that they both worked at. So that's where Lucifer and Chloe go. Dan is already there, and Chloe tried, and similar to how Linda was, she's trying to get him to open up, and he rebuffs her pretty harshly. It's
Harsh.
yeah.
Pass.
But Dan comes up to them and he says, "Oh well, due to these stricter HIPAA laws, they need extra warrants." And I was like, "Extra warrants?" Whatever.
Yeah,
But
the HIPAA warrants, obviously. God, don't you know about HIPAA?
well, it's just the term "extra warrants." I was like, "What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like you need two?" I
Mhm.
don't know. I was
You need the
very-
HIPAA specific form A3 BS 102. The important part is BS. That's what it is.
But basically, he says that it's going to be days before they can look at the files to figure out
And
like what
God knows they can't wait days because everything is happening in the longest Halloween
72
ever.
hours.
Like, come on.
Lucifer pulls Dan into a bear hug, and this is important for the bit later. And then he says that if he wants to talk, Chloe's offering, and then he walks off. And Dan and Chloe talk about Lucifer because even Dan is concerned about him now. And then Lucifer comes back with the files that they wanted. He's like, "Oh, how did you get them?" He's like, "Well, you just have to flash the badge to the right person."
And
He
Dan
holds
is
up
like,
Dan's badge. What? And that was bad
and
enough, but
then
then he shows us that he took his gun too.
we might need to back that badge up, obviously. And also, this is it's so Lucifer because
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not, he's like, yeah, this is
He's
what I
so
did. I took your
casual about
badge.
it.
I took your gun. I could have done it anytime. I did it right now for a reason. And here you go. I'm giving them back to you again. And Dan is like, the paperwork. I'm going to have to do form A through Q
Yeah, like
128. Like,
the look that like Kevin's like acting in this scene was so
mhm.
good. Just the shock and the horror on his face and embarrassment too, because Lucifer's taking his gun and badge and he didn't
Yeah.
even realize it, right?
Nope.
But he like blows up at him. He says, "You only ever do what you want to do," and then Lucifer slugs him right in the face.
Well, first he has his moment where he's like, that is not true. And you can see, like, again, like the pain.
He looks upset. Yeah.
The pain is so good in this episode. It's just, so good. And then he's like, well, if I only ever did what I wanted to do, I would do this. And then he punches Dan in his punchable face. And Chloe is like, okay.
Yeah, I do want to say that like even though we're like joking about how long this day is, like Lucid they managed to make his stubble look incredibly consistent.
They did. They did.
Yeah.
And it is stubbly.
Yeah.
It's
That was really good. But yeah, so
mhm. Yes, also just a reminder, he is looking super hot still throughout this
yes,
episode.
very.
Pain looks extremely good on Lucifer's
Wardrobe
face.
nice.
Rumpled, the curls and the like hair standing up. He often has like just the little curl on his forehead, and I'm like, it's a lot, man. Gotta take that in. Okay. So yes, looking good still. Guy liner smudged. Very good, Lucifer.
Yeah, there are some episodes where it's a little too much, but it looked perfect in this one.
Well, he's having a bad day, and it just adds to that.
So she sends Lucifer home, and Dan suggests that, well, since he already got the files.
Oh, also important because it kind of comes back again is that he once again says, like, he sort of defaults to his, why are you so surprised? I'm evil. I'm the devil,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Chloe is just, you can see that Chloe's like, okay, we're back here again. Like, because that hasn't been he's been better lately,
Yeah, yeah.
but he is in
He's
full
regressing.
spiral.
Yeah. So next we have mom taking Amenadiel out to the woods, and they're talking about God and like who's to blame and Uriel's childhood and all these things. And
Dad could have stopped this anytime.
yeah, and you can, because she's being sneaky here. Like I think she's genuinely sad about Uriel, but at the same time she's working on Amenadiel.
Oh yeah, she is definitely trying to get him on her side
Yeah.
and not.
It's very
I'm
oh,
also,
it's so
yeah,
sad. We're gonna bond over Uriel, but your father. Oh my
it's
god.
always your father. I mean, your father. And so I'm going to have a moment of nerd out for 1 second because so having watched this episode and the one previous 579 times probably, one time I went through and watched it purely for like lighting. And these two episodes, but especially basically from the church fight in the last episode all the way through this episode, even to the last scene with Linda, there's this really cool use of beams of light, which I think are very reminiscent of like essentially like paintings of God, where like God is often shown as like a light beam coming down or whatever. And so there's a lot of that in these 2 episodes, usually at the moments when nobody thinks God is around. And yet there'll be like in the scene in the woods with your like there's these really specific light beams like coming down through the tree as mom is trying to like turn Menadil against dad. And then there's like really specific light beams when Lucifer is feeling the worst about himself. And there's a really specific one in Linda's office at the end. And it's like this illumination that I think represents that they're not as alone as they think they are.
Mm.
So that was my nerdy meta for today, brought to you by I've watched this too many times.
But basically, she's taking him out to the woods to show him where Lucifer buried Uriel's body. So then we go back to Lux where he's drinking. Yeah,
Like
so
he thinks
Lucifer's
that he
drinking.
sees
Yeah, he sees a man's back. He thinks it's Uriel. Then he bumps into a like. Is it a waitress or just a patron? I don't know.
somebody, and she's
Yeah,
like,
but
"It's not your fault,"
it's
and
not your
he's like,
fault.
"Everything is my fault."
But so Dan and Chloe are doing actual police work.
They are, and it leads to one of my favorite lines of this episode, and many probably, which is they're going back and forth, and Dan says like, if I don't know how I would react, if I found out that my wife and and Chloe says, well, I know what you wouldn't do. You wouldn't start revenge killing a bunch of innocent people. And he was like, yeah, that's fair. And that's like, we're all sitting there as the audience going like, exactly, this is a little much. Like, you can be mad that your wife died and that maybe these people were involved in the, like, tangentially in the sort of thing that, because they find out that the wife was ill and
Yeah.
was in
She was
a
on a trial.
drug trial, but she was in the placebo group, which
Yeah.
you never know. Like, you might be in the placebo group. That's the whole point of a drug trial. She would have known going into it that she had a 50-50 chance. And she would have signed papers to that effect. But her husband does not take this well.
Yeah, he works for ATF, so and he has a specialty in long range marksmanship. So then
Yes.
they go to his apartment. They find fake IDs for a pharmaceutical company, and the next they show that he's already at that pharmaceutical company. He's got his guitar case. So and then next is
Meanwhile,
next
it is now 3 p.m.
Yes, or before 3 p.m.
or before.
Yeah, so Maze takes, and I was like, really? Do people go trick or treating that early? Because I have no idea.
It was always dark when I went trick or treating.
Yeah,
Sorry, maybe.
Me too.
I mean, I also lived in like Canada where it got dark at 4 p.m. So let's be honest here. Like,
so Maze takes Trixie trick or treating, and at the first house, the man asks what she is, and Maze's like, "She's the president of Mars." Duh.
Duh. Meanwhile, this costume is just so like, God bless Maze. It's so funny cute. Because you can see Maze's influence because all of the pieces of the costume are like margarita and martini glasses and like the punch bowl and like beads from Mardi Gras.
And yet it's still so considerate too because she helped him come up with a costume. It's so cute.
Adorable. It's like this is the stuff that, I mean, thank God that no sex toys or swings were involved in this. Like, at least the president of Mars wasn't. Right? Yeah. Disinfected. At least the president of Mars isn't carrying like a whip, and you know that because things could have got real dark. Yes, she is
carrying around her whip, I guess, to fend off any candy thieves.
Yeah, fair.
But she and the way that she embraces this role as her guardian while trick-or-treating is just so like I would never have imagined it, but just watching it play out is just so perfect.
And this is kind of like, that's kind of what I mean, like getting to see it feels still totally in character. You don't feel like they pulled a fast one and they're like, oh, Maze would never do this. But the fact that we see Maze like basically being the cool / crazed auntie, as we all aspire to be, us weird aunties, that
Yeah, I
she
mean,
just does it
the
so
way that she's
well
got yes, the way she's got her back, right? Because the guy gives her one candy, and she just glares at him. She doesn't even need to
until
say anything.
I know.
He
She's
gives
just
her
eyeballing
more.
him, and then he gives her cash.
Yeah.
And I do not think that was going in the UNICEF box.
I
That
don't think so. I love that
that
he's
was
just like, "Oh,
going
yeah."
in that was going into Trixie's, like, studying to be the president of Mars fund.
But as they're walking away, Trixie tells Maze that she wishes she was wearing a costume, and Maze tells her, "I did bring something." She tells her to turn
And
around.
she's so vulnerable, like, she's so sure.
I know.
And
She's
this is
so sure
also
that
we've also got a little foreshadowing here of the end of this episode, which we'll get to when
yeah,
we get there, of people showing faces and their reactions. And so, and I do love that Maze has been wearing her hair in little horns all day.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
she has
yeah.
little horns
It's
in
such a
there.
nice
So it's like
touch.
she's been like, she's like sort of in costume, but this is like the bit where you know, she hasn't gone as far and she isn't being what she wants, even though that's what the day is for. And so she's like, all right, I'll turn around. And then she, then of course, Trixie being Trixie.
Yeah, I mean, just because there's that pause where you're just like, "Oh my god, how is she gonna react?" And then she's like, "Cool."
We're gonna get so much candy.
This is actually my avatar on Discord in the Lucifer Discord. Just Trixie's like pause where she's just like looking like, "Cool."
Mhm. As we know, Trixie is not afraid of a little darkness. And she clearly is like, Auntie Maze is some kind of amazing, pun intended, makeup artist that just had this like half hidden under her face. I actually think, much like she immediately says Lucifer like the devil, she's like, yeah, these are
Yeah.
like supernatural people. Duh. Like the president of Mars, duh. The devil, duh. His demon,
She's gonna give
Not
me
my
so
fault
much
you're an
candy.
idiot, Mom.
But just the look on Maze's face though, where she's
Uh-huh.
just so relieved, and I don't know, it's such
Accepted
a
for who she
I know, it's
is
such a
in a way
beautiful
that we have
moment.
like this is the magic of Trixie, honestly, is that when we see her, like, she does this several times for different characters throughout, and that kind of like a wide-eyed acceptance of it is just so wholesome
Yeah,
and
it makes you feel
so
good.
it does. She's the best. So, yeah. And she's going to have a lot of candy. We'll later see the wrappers on the floor.
Yeah, oh my god.
So
When
much.
Chloe gets home. That was so funny.
Oh
But
my
so
god.
speaking of feeling good, Lucifer is not feeling good. He's at
No,
Lux. He's
he
at
is
Lux.
at his torture level is like 11 out of 10 at this point. It's really beautiful to watch, but he feels bad.
Yeah, he's playing Unforgiven on the piano, and it's like overlaid with like Amenadieu and Mom having their like heart to heart still. And then Amenadieu's mad because God isn't around. It's just kind of like what Lucifer has been saying this whole time, right? About God being absent. He's always ranting about that. Whenever people talk to God or mention God, he says, he's not listening. He's not going to
Yeah.
talk back to you. He's never going to answer you. And he's always
Mhm.
angry about this. So it's like Amenadieu has come around to like Lucifer's point of view at this point.
But the light beams are there. The light beams are there. You go watch for the light beams, folks. God was there in the woods listening, feeling sad, but, not interfering with
Always
free will.
watching. So Chloe and Dan head to the pharmaceutical company. They're figuring out Wesley's next target, and they think that it's a husband and wife team who are part of the drug trial. That's where they mention the whole thing about her being in the placebo group. So they think that he blames them for her not getting the actual drug. And then so Chloe, they split up when they get there. Chloe goes to find the wife in the lobby, and Dan goes to the guy up in his office, and while Chloe is trying to what happened? She sees
Get
the
down the
wife from
stairs.
upstairs. Yeah, she
Yeah.
sees the wife from upstairs, and she's getting coffee downstairs. And then while she's trying to get to her, the sniper, like Lucifer, appears out of nowhere, and he's
He
standing
can
in
do
front
that.
of and he's standing in front of the lady, and he's goading the sniper on, and the guy keeps shooting, and he keeps missing him, and just gets Lucifer angrier and angrier
Yeah.
until
An
finally, yeah,
unflinching Lucifer,
yeah,
much like, again, like the foreshadowing we saw at the truck
yeah.
earlier.
And you can tell, yeah, he wants to get hit, right? And he knows that with
Yeah.
Chloe there, he'll
Yeah.
actually get hurt. So
I also want to say that, given that I had seen this episode 800 times, it has always driven me crazy that I couldn't place this building, because I knew that I had been in this building.
oh
Like,
really?
I knew it was super familiar to me, but I could not remember what building it was. And between the last time I watched this episode and this time, I hosted a conference in that building. So
Oh my
now
god.
I really know where that building is. And I was like, it came on and I was like, oh, that's where it is.
Oh,
It's
that's so
SMU
funny.
downtown. And so, yes, I was like, I know exactly where this is now. I'm good. I'm good. So that's my, I'm pretty sure I have been in the hospital where they shot too
Oh
earlier,
really? That's
because
so
it
funny.
really reminds me, like, I'm just not sure which of the couple of hospitals it was, but yes, I knew exactly this building this time, and I was like, oh, that's not a pharmaceutical company, that's a university. It's downtown.
Chloe manages to get the shooter, and then she arrests him and takes him downstairs. And so when they're down in the lobby, Lucifer sees the guy, and he demands to know, why didn't you shoot me? And the guy tells him, because you didn't deserve it. I was just trying to scare you away from the lady. And this makes Lucifer realize that he holds someone else accountable, and it's himself. Because he was away too often for work, and maybe they could have caught his wife's cancer sooner. And so this leads Lucifer to come to the realization that it's about punishment, and that's how he's been walking around causing mayhem at the same time, and he also wants to be punished. So
But thankfully not murdering people.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
I mean, it is
trying to murder
positive that,
himself, but
yeah, but like not killing other people in order to get like suicide by copped, like, because that's, those people that he murdered, that woman he murdered at her wedding, probably wishes that he had not actually done that.
yeah.
Just saying. But yes.
But Chloe, she's still trying to reach out, and she's still trying to say she just wants to understand, and she's there for him, but he's
Lucifer's like,
you
you don't
cannot, you never
understand.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Again,
so I
beautiful
feel,
pain.
yeah, and I feel so bad for Chloe, but she's so
Yes.
she's still so gracious about it. She says, "Well, you have
Mm-hmm.
a therapist. Why don't you go talk to her before this eats you alive?"
Yeah, and you can tell Chloe is hurt. Like she's
Yeah, she
she's
looks.
choking down tears
Yeah,
because, you know,
that's her partner,
it's her partner, and he just almost got himself killed in front of her.
and he's stonewalling her. He won't talk about
Yeah.
it. So yeah, it stings. I think so. Speaking of eating, she goes home and there's candy wrappers all over the floor.
Everywhere. Just everywhere.
So not only did they clean out the neighborhood candy supply, but they ate it.
Yeah. And then somehow came down from the sugar high and crashed in front of the TV.
It was so cute though.
And they're
Just seeing them.
snuggling.
I know they're snuggling. Oh my god, it's this demon who is so she's a terror this whole time,
Yeah.
and yet her weakness turns
Hell's
out
torturer. Hell's torturer is snuggling on the couch with Trixie because Trixie is the best. So Chloe puts a blanket over them and then leaves them there.
So, final scene. Lucifer has listened to
So
Chloe.
good.
I know. And
Everything
he
is
has,
sad. Everything is sad here, guys. It's bad.
and like, man, props to Linda because who knows what time it is, but she's still coming to the office to talk to Lucifer.
It's only 179 hours later after she saw him in the bar this morning at 7 a.m. I don't know. Like,
But he admits that he's feeling something that he's never felt before, and that's guilt. And he tells Linda that he killed Uriel. And so she's a little. She looks really surprised by this because I think when he said, "My brother died," she didn't think
mhm,
he killed his brother, and I think maybe she also just at first maybe just thought, like I'm responsible for my brother's death kind of thing when you say I killed him. But then she kind of has this moment too where she's just like, "Oh, are you being serious?" Like, because she looks a little alarmed, you know.
mhm,
Yeah. And because I think it's because she does think that Lucifer talks in metaphors all the time, but she also feels like he speaks with such conviction that, when he says this thing, it sounds like he might be telling the truth, right? So,
mhm. Yeah. And he is like, there's no, he's completely serious and she basically blows up at him and accuses him of lying and being
yeah.
dishonest.
Yeah.
So
Because
basically hits him in the spot that he, like his tenderest
mhm.
underbelly, and he still tries to keep it together.
Yeah, because I feel like she thought maybe he was being serious, but then he starts going on and on and on about all the celestial stuff. And so that
Mhm,
makes her be like, oh God, no, not this again. So she interrupts him, tells him, no more metaphors. I want you to tell me the truth. And like Lucifer tells her that she has to understand he's a monster and that he deserves to be punished.
mhm,
And that's when he shows her his face. And the look of hope on his face
mhm.
is similar to Maze's, right? Because
Yeah.
right when she reveals herself, she's looking at Trixie like, "Oh my God, are you gonna be okay with me doing this?" And
Spoiler alert. Dr. Linda does not say, "Cool," and grab Lucifer's hand.
yeah, I mean, she basically becomes catatonic, right? She's
Mhm.
not even seeing him anymore. She's just staring at the wall, and she like her mouth is moving, and she's
She's
shaking.
shaking, like
Yeah.
she's literally crashing out, and he can't do anything because he's the reason why. And so he gets up and leaves and looks back at her, and she's like still dissociating, and like it's so
His
sad.
I know his hurt little boy demeanor,
Mhm.
it just crushes you.
Well, and that's the thing. Again, that's like one of the reasons why I just absolutely love this episode is that there's such the the gamut of emotion that we see from lots of the characters, but from Lucifer in particular, is just like, there's so many emotions and moments and like tiny little, like a single expression that tells a whole story. And it's done so well. And then you have that contrasted with this storyline of Maze
Yeah.
and Trixie, which is this hopeful friendship, opposites, who should not have anything in common. And that blend of like absolute tragedy and comedy is so good in this episode. Like
Yeah.
it's
Like
such good.
Lucifer's vulnerability here is just it's so palpable because he's so scared of this exact reaction in the people he
And
cares about, and then it happens, right?
exactly. And that he, like, I mean, it in a weird way, like he asks for consent basically from her to
Yeah.
because he's like, "Are you sure?" And she, of course, still not knowing what she's about to see. And then it's like, it's also because even though he shows his devil face, it's not the devil face we've seen. It's not the scary, he's not mad. He's not about to tear somebody's face off. He's trying to make it as gentle as possible. There's not
Yeah.
actually anything scary. It's the same expression that he was wearing a second earlier, which is kind of like this mix of hope and this certainty that it's going to be rejection. And then she can't take it, which he knew, which is why he, but
well, he
the
knew,
fact
but
is,
he still held out hope, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And, for him too, it's like, he knows that he's been telling her the truth the whole time. And he knows that
Yeah.
he's, never tried to make this about metaphors or anything. In fact, he was sort of playing along with her idea that they were metaphors, because she couldn't handle the truth. And then to have her reaction to the truth be so rejection, which, I mean, again, no, it's not Linda's fault.
Yeah, it's not.
I imagine that some of us in the same situation would be like, ooh, that's a lot to take in.
Yeah. Okay, so what did you think of his devil face, though? He looked very moist.
Moist. I believe this is the onset of what in fandom is called the lasagna face.
Oh, okay.
That it looks like sheets of wet lasagna noodle covered in sauce. So, yeah. It's probably a face that we do see. It's better if we see less. You don't really want a lingering shot on the half-baked lasagna. No cheese. So it's when you scrape the cheese off.
Cheese.
Nobody. Actually, no, my sister-in-law doesn't like cheese, which I don't understand, but
Well, we are watching an episode called Monster, so it's fitting.
It's true. It's,
Only
I mean, you might
monsters
as well
scrape
just
off cheese.
on a lasagna. She actually orders nachos without cheese and also pizzas, and I'm like, I don't understand.
That's not nachos.
I know, it's just chips.
It's stuff. Just chips
with red, nothing to hold it together. Come on now. The cheese is structural in a nacho. Also not related to this episode in any way, but it's the
But yeah, so that's where the episode ends. Lucifer looks back one last time at Linda, and she's just still staring straight ahead, and he just
also,
he looks so
how about
sad.
that parallel though of I noticed it this time where basically what he had said to her was, feel free to shut it, the door, my door is always open, and then he leaves the door a little bit open, and I'm like, ouch.
Yeah.
Everything about like the lovely parallels between scenes and moments and everything in this episode are just so good. Like, it's the tiny nitpicks are so small because the majority of this episode is just so brilliantly reflective and balanced with each other, and it's so emotional. It's so good. I love it.
Yeah, the writing was really good, and the editing was really good too.
Yes. Yeah. Again, go check out those beams of light, guys. Beams of light.
Okay, watches. Couch watch. Her couch is still the same, the dark one that appeared in season 2 in the early part. Devil Face, we added 2 people to his Devil Face list, Jason Myers and Linda. Title line, I believe, was said by Lucifer. I don't know.
At the very end.
Yeah.
He doesn't say it before that.
Chest hair watch. Definite chest hair during his homeless magician scene.
Total. He is so unhappy right now that he is not manscaping.
Yeah, he is very chest hairy.
So just no, and face hairy, like just hairy. He's in the weeds. His hair is everywhere. It's a bad scene.
Okay, so runner-up titles, we have Pesky Supernatural Metabolism, Masquerade Orgies, which is something that Maze said, and President of Mars. And then Atara wanted to maybe consider Oily Balls too. So
Oily Balls!
Pickle watch, no pickles, but I have a pickle update of my own. Okay. So the last time I went to Costco, I saw that they have these things called pickle chips.
Oh,
Basically,
yummy.
they're like freeze-dried cucumbers with dill pickle seasoning on them, and they're amazing. It's like a low-calorie snack, and they taste just like pickles, and they're crunchy. Oh, it's really
Oh,
good. And
I want those.
and Lay's has started making a dill pickle chip.
Okay, I'm just gonna tell you something. That they made those in Canada before they went to the US.
What? We've been
And
deprived.
you have been, because then when I was living in Boston, now like a decade ago, things take a while to get to Hawaii, I think, but I saw them in like a random, like grocery store in in Boston, and I stopped in the middle of the aisle and grabbed a bag of dill pickle chips and held it over my head and was like, "Yes, dill pickle!" And I was like, "Yeah."
They're so
Everybody's just
good.
they're
They're
so
so good.
good. So yeah, up here we actually have many varieties of dill pickle chips.
What? I have
Mhm.
like I'm 46, almost 47. And this is the first time I've seen dill pickle chips.
They're so
I,
good.
I love them. It's my new
Yeah.
favorite. It's my new favorite flavor. And like
Pickle is good.
when somebody asked me about it, I was like, it's like salt and vinegar, only better.
It is, because there's like more flavor
Yeah.
to it.
Ah, so
We can
good.
also, I don't know if you have this, but we also have like, like popcorn seasonings. We also have dill pickle popcorn seasoning.
Oh my god. I did not know
So
that. I'm gonna have to go look for
yeah, I have
that.
some downstairs right
Oh
now.
my god.
I would give you some if I could.
Come on,
Um,
United
yeah.
States.
God, stop keeping the pickles from the people. Amenadiel will come for you in a blaze of broken wings. Yeah,
Okay, LuciTunes. There were several really good
so
songs in
good.
this episode. So there's Dance Like a Monster, that's by Playdate, and that's at the wedding. No Good by Kaleo, that's at Lux Downs. I like that one. And then The Girl Is Back in Town by Chantal Claret. That one is really good. But it was not where I was expecting it. It's when they go to the food truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's like a
Well, they're
transition
kind of
song.
it is a transition song, and I think it's like it's a little bit upbeat and then murder.
Yeah.
You know. You know how it goes.
Yeah. And then there's Way Down We Go, but also by Kaleo. That's when Amenadiel and Mum are in the woods.
And it's so
There's
good.
there's Haunted Rave by Gary and the Ghouls. That's when Maze and Trixie go trick or treating. And then there's Tom Ellis's piano cover of Unforgiven, which is by
The
Metallica.
saddest. The
Yeah,
saddest version.
that was really good. But
I know. And then the way when he goes to kick everybody out and his first he says, he's out, and it's like his voice breaks and it sounds
yeah.
so. Where was your Emmy for this, Tom? Where was your Emmy for this episode? I'm sorry. I give it to you post, show. I don't want to say posthumously because you're still alive, but the show is not. So.
Okay, the good, the bad, and the crispy. So my good is the homeless magician scene. I love it from like front to back. It's just so good.
Oh man. Yeah, this episode is hard for me because I just love it all. I think my good is probably just like Trixie and Maze and the costume and the trick-or-treating and Maze's happy face when she gets to show her scary face.
Bad. Mine is when Chloe when the shooter kills Freddy and they go up to the roof and Chloe looks around. She very carefully picks up the bullet casing with a pen, but then she touches the railing with her bare hands twice. I was like, Chloe, stop touching the railing and getting your fingerprints everywhere because oh my god.
My bad is extremely nitpicky, but it bugs me every time I see this episode, which is the first time they come back to the precinct and Lucifer is acting weird, and Dan basically kind of talks down to Chloe, like, are you going to get him under control kind of thing? And it bothers me because Dan is not her boss. And in fact,
Yeah.
she is still in a position of authority over him because
Over
he's been
him.
demoted. And just the way he kind of lays into her, I'm like, excuse me, sir, you are overstepping, because it makes, and she kind of reacts in this like, oh yeah, no, I'll deal with it, kind of. I hate that moment so much because it just feels, it's the only moment that feels out of character or like out of the context of the time they're now in.
Yeah.
So that's my bad.
It's so funny because we just did the Mentalist season 1 finale, and there's this part where the main woman, Lisbon, her boss tells her, "Control your man."
Oh,
they're
so
the wranglers of the main characters.
I am not a violent person, but the one time I ever absolutely cracked a dude across the face was in high school. And he had a crush on me for a couple years, this guy. And I was dating this other guy. And I said something, and then guy about to get his face slapped said to my boyfriend, control your woman. And I turned around and I smacked him across the face so hard that I left a red handprint. And I said, don't you ever say anything like that to anyone ever again. And he was like, I'm sorry, Tara. And then he ran away.
Holy crap, Tara.
Yeah. So you really have to get to the end of the fuse for that to happen. But I was like, really, you're telling him to control me? How's this for him controlling me? I'm going to punch you in the face. Like, that's violence is not the answer. Kids, you shouldn't be listening to this podcast. No.
Well, I'm sure you taught him a very long life lesson. So
I did.
Maybe the net positive here is good. So
yes, you're welcome, future person who married him, because I think he did get married. So yeah. It's a real handprint. It was great.
Teenage boys, though, I tell you.
Gross. They're the worst.
All right, Crispy. Mine was just the way that Trixie says, President of Mars.
I like how yours are so specific and mine are the last 10 minutes. Like, everything. So remember how I told you that I was writing down my favorite lines?
Yeah.
I believe that from the time that Lucifer walks in and stands in front of the lady with the sniper, and he's like, I know you're out there, Mr. Sniper. I basically have written the rest of the episode out. There's like...
She wrote the whole script down.
There's like multiple pages.
Oh my god. Wait, show me that again. Show me that again. Oh my god, amazing.
You guys can't see that because you don't get the video, but there's like about 7 or 8 pages of just the entire episode written out, because I'm like interspersed with light beams because I had to note when they happened. Yeah. So the whole scene, basically from when he walks in and stands in front of the lady, and then especially like his conversation with the sniper guy, his heartbreaking conversation with Chloe, and then the absolute devastation of the whole conversation with Linda. I'm like, oh, my pain-loving heart, just so good.
It's full.
That's my Crispy. The last 10 minutes.
All right,
which took me about half an hour to watch because I was like, oh, pause, I gotta write that down.
It takes me a long time to watch an episode too. Mm-hmm. See, that's something funny I actually wanted to mention too, because it's so often that like we're late, because I'll tell my co-host, this is across all units, I'll be like, I need a little more time, I'm still watching the episode. Because podcasting for this show is not just about showing up and talking. We gotta rewatch the episode. We gotta take notes.
Yeah, it's gotta be fresh.
We gotta like pick apart everything. So we gotta come prepared. So it's like
beam of light.
It's homework. There's homework to be done before we do these recordings.
It's good
And
homework, though. It's fun homework.
it is, but it just takes a long time.
Yeah, it really does. And then today, Crystal was like, "Oh, I need an extra 35 minutes." And I'm like, "Great, because I've still got 5 minutes left in the episode," which then took me 15 minutes to watch because I actually looked at when you sent that message and when I finished, and I was like, yeah, that took me 15
Yeah,
minutes.
it
So
takes me forever too because I gotta pause and I gotta type and I gotta
Mhm.
analyze things and yeah.
Yeah, we do this for you, listeners, for
Yes.
you, and for our nerdy selves. That's the truth.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll come back with a new Lucy quiz. Okay, we're back with a new Lucy quiz. The way this works is I'm going to ask Tara 6 questions about the episode we just discussed, and if she doesn't get all of these, then I'm going to be very disappointed because I've seen her notes now.
I'm going to be disappointed too.
I'm kidding. but you have 5 seconds to come up with an answer. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, question 1. On Trixie's President of Mars costume, what were her antennas made of?
Uh, 2 margaritas glasses and a martini glass.
There you go. Very good. Okay, and question 2. What is the Dutch dish Lucifer says means oily balls?
Oliebollen. I wrote down the whole menu because I
You
knew that
did? Oh my
Crystal
god.
was going to ask me something. I'm like, is she going to ask me what the guy says Chloe is? She going to ask me what random things are on the awning?
I mean,
And so I wrote it down,
I
and I wrote
didn't
down
make
the
this
prices.
quiz. I didn't make this quiz very hard just because it was just I, I actually ended the episode and I was like, shoot, I only have like 3 questions. I was just so caught up in the episode.
Yeah, that's how good it was.
What was the name of the food truck?
Freddy's Dutch Oven.
Oh, very good, very good.
Not something I would want to name food truck, but you know.
All right. We're going to get harder now. Are you ready?
Okay. No.
What was Wesley Williams' nickname?
The Ghost.
Ooh, very good.
I wrote down, what's she going to ask me? She's going to ask ATF, the Ghost, marksmanship. I wrote them all down. And then I wrote down all of the details on the badge that he was making.
I think we're scaring any future consultants.
Yeah. His fake name was David Morose. He was a resident.
Oh boy. So on our finale for the mentalist unit, we had 2 consultants come on and I had each of them and Karen, I had them quiz me instead.
Nice.
I did pretty good too. So I think I got 5 out of 6. Okay, question 5. What was the victim Peggy's line of work?
She was a makeup artist.
Very good.
Her last name was Russo. And
I thought it was interesting that her name was Peggy. That seems like that was my grandma's name. That's such an old name.
It is. According to her driver's license, she was 5'6" and 121 pounds. Brown hair, brown eyes. Her birthday was the 2nd of July.
See, people, this is what happens when you quiz your friend about a TV show week after week.
This is what I was like in school too.
Okay. Name one of the 3 things that Maze thinks represents Halloween.
Oh. slutty costumes.
Okay, you got
No
one.
inhibitions.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna go for all three? What is the third one?
No, I don't remember what the first one is. Parties?
The
Drinking?
first one was slutty outfits, humans abandoning inhibitions, and masquerade orgies.
Oh, yeah, masquerade orgies. How could I have forgotten those?
But very good. You aced the quiz.
Oh, this is the first time I've gotten all of them, I think. I'm happy because, as you know, I've watched this episode 1,277 times.
I noticed your count goes every
time
you mention. Okay, so miscellaneous news before we close out. CIA, Tom Ellis's new show is now in its third week, and it's actually doing pretty good. I think it comes right after FBI airs. I haven't watched this week's episode yet, but I've watched the first two, and I like it so far. And it's nice seeing Tom on TV again. So I'm enjoying it so far.
Next year, it'll be TSA, and then it'll be EPA, and
I think there's a DIA, NSA. Yeah, NSA.
Yeah. There's DEA, because that's the Drug Enforcement Agency.
Yeah. ATF.
Yeah.
Starring
Your three letters.
Ghost.
Yeah. Coming up next on Hollywood Recycles Things.
All right. Any last thoughts? I think we've
I
covered
just love
all
this.
our bases. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a really good.
It's
episode.
such a good.
Next week's our next episode is really good too. So
yeah, we're on like that amazing slide
string
to
of
the mid-season, which is just, again, episode 13 is my favorite of this season. Is my favorite episode of the entire show. Stay tuned.
We're getting there. All right. If you're enjoying Rom-Com Detectives, please consider leaving us a review or rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. For our question of the week, you can leave us a comment on Spotify, YouTube, or Reddit and tell us how much money you would have given Trixie when faced with Maze's death glare. I think the guy gave her $10, which I thought was kind of low.
Because he started by pulling a 10, but then he added at least some more because she kept glaring. But they didn't do a close up on how much it's like empty your wallet, sir.
If you'd like to join it,
I'd have to Venmo her some money because I never carry cash. God. I'd be like, "What's your handle on Venmo? Can I send this to you via Wise? Really I don't have."
If you'd like to join additional conversations about Lucifer, you can visit the Lucifer subreddit at reddit.com/r/Lucifer. To contact me and Tara, email us at host@romcomdetectives.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Threads, or Blue Sky at romcomdetectives, or leave us a voicemail or text message at 1-650-733-XOXO or 9696. This episode of Rom-Com Detectives was recorded on March 11, 2026. Rom-Com Detectives Lucifer Unit is co-hosted by Krista Watanabe and Tara Avery and is produced by Pico's House. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you guys next time for our breakdown of My Little Monkey. Bye.
More Trixie. Yay.